I cannot even begin to understand how Hunter Biden's lawyers walk him into that courthouse without knowing exactly what the constraints, what the limitations of that deal are.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Hunter Biden's plea deal collapsing this morning at a federal courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, this is a huge story. It has rocked Capitol Hill, D.C. down to the core. Oh, people are really scrambling like, hey, what happened? I thought we had a rock solid deal. He was going to get off, nothing burger. But no. Hunter Biden will go to trial for what he's being accused of. Now, before we get into anything, let's back up a little bit and talk about what the charges are and what the potential penalty could be. Now, Hunter Biden is facing 6 felonies related to 3 offenses. 2 tax evasion charges from back in 2016, 2017. And I think the total money that he owed was $1.2 million. Now, I believe he did pay the money off, but it doesn't really matter. There have been plenty of celebrities, big name people, Fat Joe Wesley Snipes. They have paid their tax debt and still went to the penitentiary. So you can't just say, oh, I paid it, I shouldn't go. Well, maybe you shouldn't go, but others have gone. So why wouldn't you go, Hunter Biden? That's that. But then there was also the gun charge. And there's quite a few things there. You see, Hunter Biden obviously is or was a crackhead, a known illicit drug user. And according to the Brady Act, which his dad, Joe Biden, was a spearhead behind in 1993 as Delaware senator, according to the Brady Act, if you lie on your background check, that is a felony. You could get up to 10 years in the penitentiary just for lying on your background check. All right. And again, if you are an illicit drug user, you cannot pass your background check. He had to lie to pass the background check to get the gun legally. Also, you cannot own your weapon as an illicit drug user. And we all know Hunter Biden has been on videotape with his gun at the same time smoking crack. That right there is 100% illegal. So those 3 things right there yielded, I believe, 6 felonies. Now, he was going to plead guilty to all those things and get a sweetheart deal that gave him no jail time at all. And he probably was going to have a clean record. No evidence of any kind of crime being pled guilty to. But when he goes to the courthouse, the judge has a question like, hey, is Hunter Biden being investigated right now? It's still an ongoing investigation. And of course, his team says, yes, he's being investigated. You know, you got 10 for the big guy. You got other stuff going on. So the judge is like, wait a minute. You guys want me to sign off on the tax evasion charges, the gun charge, and you want immunity from future charges as part of your plea deal? I think not. I think the last part about immunity was the sticking point. It's like, yo, I might be able to give you the gun and the taxes, but not the immunity because he's still under investigation. So Biden's team said, no, we're not going to sign off on that. We're not going to plead guilty to that. So the plea deal fell apart. Hunter had to plead not guilty to the charges rather than pleading guilty, which means he will go to trial. And he's going to be in court. It's going to be on TV. I'm not sure about cameras in the courtroom, but whenever he does go to court, it's going to be a big spectacle outside. It's going to be interfering with the election. And you have the potential for an impeachment inquiry coming from Congress, coming from the House, Republicans, that's going to affect Joe. And of course, Hunter will be involved. We got a laptop going on, 10 for the big guy. Joe is currently being investigated for the documents, possibly Burisma Holdings and that whole thing that was going on. So this is what's happening. Now, they asked Corinne Jean-Pierre about what's happening, and she said, oh, well, Hunter's private citizen and all this and that and the third. But wait a minute. Private citizen? Let's look at this right here. What kind of private citizen gets a motorcade? a motorcade to go to court. Now, if you or I get jammed up like this, a gun charge, if you lie on your background check as a crack user and say, oh, no, I don't do drugs, and they find out, and if you have your gun on videotape as a known drug user, you're going to the penitentiary. The rapper Lil Boosie got caught on an Instagram live with a gun and got a gun charge for that. Just for having a gun on his waistband. But he can be on videotape smoking crack with a gun, which is illegal right there, and there's nothing. I mean, come on. If it's going to be illegal, let it be illegal. If you're going to charge one guy, charge the other. If you're not going to charge one, then don't charge the other. Let's not have this two-tier justice system. But again, what kind of regular guy gets a motorcade to go to his court date just to plead guilty? Just to plead guilty. Security detail, motorcade, come on. Let's be all the way real. This is going to be a really big thing coming up. He will go to court, and he might actually get convicted of the charges. And a big part of the reason why he has not been, why the deal fell apart is because of the immunity. He did not face tax charges for 2014 and 2015 because the DOJ allegedly let the statute of limitations pass for that. They could have got him on that. It just let that pass away. And it's like, no, we're not going to do anything, which is crazy because the 2014 and 2015 tax charges related to Burisma Holdings and Ukraine, and that would have implicated Joe Biden. You see where we're going? Now, before I go any further, let's check out Benny Johnson and Cash Patel, and let's hear their take on it. Cash is going to speak in some legalese, lawyerese. I'm going to try my best to translate what he's saying. This is a really good take. Shout out Benny Johnson. You guys check out his show. I will link to this and everything else I'm talking about right now in the description box below. Let's get a little bit of sound and let's go ahead and let it rock.
Yo, Cash. Dog.
Wow.
What's going on?
Heater of an opening. Woo!
Whoa. What's going on, baby?
Everyone cut off cable news and turn on the Benny Johnson show. That was fire.
We out here.
Okay, so look, I've been a federal public defender. I've been a national security prosecutor. I've been on both sides of the aisle, literally in federal court before tons of federal judges. And a federal judge has the authority not to enter into plea negotiations. And what this judge did, rightfully so, was question the DOJ if there are other criminal conduct related to the plea agreement. She's allowed to do that, or he. And I was not stunned by DOJ's answers, but the specificity that she went to FARA tells me she knew in the discovery process of this case that that issue had come up. And if that issue was going to be legally precluded from being prosecuted in the future, she as the jurist has the responsibility to demand that answer from the DOJ.
Let's pause right there. So there's quite a few things that he said already. FARA, that's the Federal Age Registration Act. So Foreign Agents, pardon me, Foreign Age Registration Act. So if you are acting as a foreign agent, which you can argue that Hunter Biden would have done, and you don't, tell the federales, you don't list yourself as that. If you don't do that, that's a crime right there. Okay, let me just read some of this right here. So the Foreign Age Registration Act, FARA, was enacted in 1938. FARA requires certain agents of foreign principals who are engaged in political activities or other activities specified under the statute to make periodic public disclosure of the relationship with the foreign principal, as well as activities, receipts, and disbursements in support of those activities. Long story short, if you're acting as a go-between, a foreign agent or whatever in America, you got to disclose that. You can't just not do that. So Paul Manafort, right away, when they got him, is like, yo, okay, FARA, boom, right away. Same thing should have been with Hunter Biden. It shouldn't be this ongoing pending investigation. They know that automatically you violated something right there. They're slow walking it because they don't want to really charge Hunter or Joe with what they know that they have done. This is the long and short. And so when the judge was talking about the whole thing about immunity from future charges, it's like, okay, is there anything going on right now? Any kind of current investigation? They got to say yes. It's like, okay, well, we have other things that could be going on. Why would I grant you immunity? We're not going to do that. So that part of the deal fell apart, and Biden's team, they rejected it. So now we got to go to trial.
And it looks like Hunter Biden's lawyers thought that the FARA registration, which they can't get a deferral on, which he has to go to federal prison on, which is a felony, they thought they had negotiated their way out of it. And it looks as if they just canned the plea agreement because having been over there on the defense side, you quietly know when you've lost, and they lost on the FARA point is my first reaction, which to me tells me the DOJ tried to bury the FARA conviction.
Wow. Can you please explain this acronym FARA and what this may mean if they decided, if I'm hearing you correctly, that they are going to push forward with prosecution for Foreign Agent Registration Act?
Yeah, exactly. So FARA, Foreign Agent Registration Act, very simply means if you're a U.S. citizen, you can work for whoever you want. But if you work for another country in Europe, in Africa, in Southeast Asia, wherever, and you lobby the U.S. government, Congress, White House, whatever, be like, oh, I got, this amazing company who wants to do a deal in the United States. You can do it. You get paid billions of dollars to do it. But the law just says you have to register. You have to put the government on notice, and it doesn't cost you anything. It just says file a piece of paper. It's literally like one page. And it just says, here, I'm registered. You, DOJ, are aware of it. Track it all you want. That's it. If you fail to register and you lobby a foreign government, say you go to the Ukrainians, say you go to the Chinese, and you say, my daddy is going to get you all the private equity deals you want, or my daddy's going to get you a federal prosecutor fired in your home country. Then
there we go. This is what I'm talking about right there. See, they're not going to be able to escape the laptop 10 for the big guy. They're not going to be able to escape what Joe Biden said before the Council on Foreign Relations. He's talking about, we told them to fire the prosecutor and they didn't want to do it. And since they didn't want to do it, we were not going to guarantee the $1 billion loan. And then when we said, okay, is he fired? And he was, they let the money go. So now we're talking about quid pro quo. We're talking about pressuring. We're talking about meddling in foreign interests. You're not classifying yourself as FARA. You're not doing that. You got all kind of things going on, all kind of things that are illegal. It's just too much for the judge in the case. And shout out to him or her. Hopefully you're very protected. It was too much for the judge to ignore.
then we'll get you the $1 billion. He never registered to do those representative works on behalf of those countries in America. And look, just look what happened to Paul
Manafort,
Trump's former one of his campaign managers.
Yep.
Manafort. He failed to register as a FAR agent. Now, look, DOJ has had an awful track record of prosecuting these people because so many people in government leave and do this conduct and they don't register, which I don't know why. I think they're just trying to be shady, like Hunter Biden. And now this judge is like, so we're just going to decide what laws to not prosecute?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty keen. It's pretty savvy. Look, the reality is the deal could come back. It's dead for now. And prosecutors have a premonition of going in there and being like, it's our way or the highway. But we all know who they work for: Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray, Daddy, Joe Biden. So they could go back and loop in a FARA plea agreement, but I'm not sure that's going to work in this case, given this explosive rejection by both sides saying the plea deal's off.
So there we have it. I mean, there could still be a plea deal potentially, I suppose, but Hunter has pled not guilty. He's pled not guilty. He's like, nah, I didn't do it. Rather than saying, yeah, I did do it, let me get a slap on the wrist. And he's like, nah, I'm going to plead not guilty to the charges. So this is really big. This is going to be ongoing. We're going to get a lot of updates behind the whole situation. But as I close, what I anticipate is we're going to go to trial. We're going to get a lot of updates from the trial, and it's going to be ongoing during the election. They're going to try to kick the can down the road to prevent it from coinciding with the election. But see, now all it's going to do is cause the American people to have lack of confidence in the federal government. Why are you kicking that can down the road when it comes to Hunter, but not for Trump? You said Trump's court date for May 20th, 2024. So I expect Hunter's court date to be right around the same time. It should be going on simultaneously. They might be in the same courtroom if it comes down to it. I should see Trump's case on TV and also Hunter's case and what's going on with Joe Biden. How long are you going to investigate him? You're going to investigate him until he's not in office anymore, until it doesn't really matter anymore? You're going to have the investigation start in 2021 and end in 2025. Like, what are we going to do? But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Hunter for trying this and his team for trying this. It didn't work. And we're going to see what happens later. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your thoughts on what's going on here with Hunter Biden and the plea deal that wasn't? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Hopefully, there is a conviction here, and hopefully it happens pretty quickly. Hopefully it's not kicked down the road past the election time, which would be what I would presume they try to do. Let's not have that. If we're going to have one guy get tried during his campaign run, let the other guy's son get tried during his campaign run as well. Why not? Fair is fair, ain't it? But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.